Hey, what's up, everybody? Um, it's been a while. Let's see if I remember how to get drunk and talk to the internet about bicycles and Brook saddles. What's up, Blackball? Just looking at your photos, getting yourself ready for the race. Matt Ford, what's up? Uncle B, got a name change, huh? Large Marge, Jay Dandy. Uh, Jay Dandy, your comment today, which was a great comment on the latest video, went to spam for some reason, and I had to accept it. And I was wondering if it's just because you had used the comment had a bunch of numbers in it. If for some reason YouTube's spam filter felt like I don't know that somehow triggered something. I don't know. That was weird, especially being that you're a channel member and a regular commenter. It even has like a heart next to your name for like being a regular. So yeah, that was confusing to me. Anyways, what's up, Stephen Marino? Yeah, so it's been what, a couple weeks. I think this is I mean, maybe there are some times when in the summer where I've gone this long, but I think since I started streaming, this might be the longest break there's been. Uh, yeah, because I went to Michigan for work, went to Indianapolis, and then we went mountain biking out at Jake's, and then just happened to have a lot of work all around that stuff. So it was like there were even nights where I was here to be able to stream, but I just needed to be working on, photos because I wasn't going to get a break and then I was going to be heading out of town. So it's mostly when it's event photo stuff because that has to be timely. If I don't turn around event photos really quick, why would someone hire me? Everyone's already taking phone shots of it. So proving my worth basically. So, hey, what's up, Reefer Roads? How's it going? Sam Diaz. I was also looking at Sam's, got the wild fork on his crust bombora. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see how you like that. I'm sure you're going to like it. I mean, it sounds like it's pretty cool. But yeah, Jay Danny, is that a new photo next to your name, the dog photo? Or I don't think that's always been there, right? Uh, Raymond, what's up? Muskrat, yeah. Is Yonda still here? Bouncing bike life, what's up? Oh, you thought I went the way of Tucker? Well, that's the thing. No one could fire me since I work for myself, right? Or I guess YouTube could technically take away my channel if I did something crazy offensive. But anyone have suggestions for eliminating toe overlap on a tiny frame? I think that's just a problem with a tiny frame, right? I don't know. Large has had that problem. I don't know if we ever talked about it on the stream with his Velo Orange frame that he has really, really bad toe overlap on it. And I think it is is that a size small, large? But I don't think there's really anything you can do about it. I mean, there's a chance you could go shorter cranks, but that's all I could think of. So ride it as a unicycle. uh, oh, Jay Dandy, you updated your photo to your current dog. Jay Dandy, are you going to come out to the Otis Roubaix on Sunday if the weather's good? Oh, I should bring that up right now before I forget at the top of the stream. So, if anyone wants to meet up on Saturday, uh, anytime after 3 here at the studio, we're going to do a ride, a little industrial gravel ride, but it'll be no drop. We'll go at the pace the group wants to go, and then we could go as gnarly with the route as the group feels like they want to go. Ride out to Hoppin' Frog Brewing, um, have some food, and if anyone wants to have a drink, and then take a slightly different route back. If it's drizzly or the weather looks horrible, we could make a call to not go quite as far. We'll play it by ear. Then Sunday morning, Otis Roubaix at 10 o'clock at Dirty River Bicycle Works. So, yeah, just for anyone interested in that stuff, there are links. I think if we do an exclamation point meetup, it might have the addresses and everything. Let me see if that works. So, oh yeah, there you go. So Stream Elements has a link for anyone interested in doing that. There's no sign up or anything. It's for Saturday, rolling out of here at 3:30. So if you can't make it here, you can park at Dirty River. We'll be rolling out of there a few minutes after 4 o'clock. So ride from here to the bike shop. From the bike shop, then we'll go off on the industrial gravel. Same with Sunday morning, just be at Dirty River by 10 a.m. Probably more realistic. You don't need to be there right on time because we never leave on time. But from this one, we will be leaving on time because anyone who wants to meet at the shop, I'm not going to make them hang around. So if you can't be on time, you could try and DM me and I could drop a pin or something and try and catch us. But being on time, I'm a punctual person, so you're going to have to be punctual if you want to ride on Saturday. So, all right. So on the toe overlap, large march, that's smaller tires, shorter cranks, smaller pedals. Oh yeah, if you're riding clipless, smaller pedals, or would you set? Yeah, or flat. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, nice, Jay Dandy. You will be out. Awesome. Oh, smaller wheels too. Yeah. If you could go small, Kevin had a good idea. If you can go down to 650, if they're 700, that might help. Yeah. What's up, Racer? Racer, I almost reached out to you about trying to stream together tonight, but then again, coming from a gig, I had a feeling it wouldn't go over, but I don't want someone to get all set up and then not be able to make it happen. And then I think next week I'm doing, I don't know if I've brought this up yet, but I am going to do a couple songs with my old band at a show. It's not like a full reunion. I mean, I'm going to come out on stage after like my friends who are all still in bands play, and we're going to do a couple of our old songs. And I think we're practicing on Tuesday. So it's been a pain to get a bunch of adults in the same room with different schedules these days. But so that might be next week. So I don't want to count on that. So we'll see. But I still want to do that, Racer, chat about your bikes and all that. So what's up, Danny Smith? Yeah. Yeah, doing it this early in spring, like a meetup, is obviously, well, Ohio is always just going to be hit or miss on weather no matter when, but spring is just completely unpredictable. At least in like August, you have an idea that it should be pretty dry, but yeah, you still get August thunderstorms. So for the meetup, but yeah, there's a couple people who couldn't make it, JMZ, and even a couple people fairly local who were like, oh, we're busy. And so maybe this summer there'll be a time to pick another date and try and have something. I don't want to plan that far ahead yet. I don't even have my like vacations nailed down or anything like that. So we'll see. And then, as I always say on the stream, I'm being a freelancer. It's so hard to plan really far ahead. That's why I coupled this meetup with the Otis Roubaix, because I knew I was going to hold that date. So I'm like, I could hold the Saturday before and not do anything. And now that I do have a second photographer who's available to cover stuff on the weekends, that helps out a little bit. So I need to, so maybe that'll give more flexibility. So, but yeah, maybe we'll look at something else in the summer. Matt said he can't make it out, but he'll proof-hide his saddle in our honors. Nice. That reminds me, I have a couple that do need to be proof-hided. I rode my Marin, which has a Brooks saddle that I put a ton of miles on today, and I was like, ooh, this needs another coat of proof-hide. And it was threatening rain too. I'm like, yeah, but. Racer said, if things work out, you do a massive road trip our way and stay in your element. Yeah. Bouncing Bike Like said it's always sunny in Akron. At least it is on the way to the live stream. Yeah, I used to change the intro seasonally, but I don't want to have to worry about it because I don't want to look at snow when it's nice out. And I almost don't. I like the vibe of just leaving it with the intro. Maybe we'll change it one day, but. Yeah, Steve, on changing 700C to 650, you can, but yeah, you would have to get, there's Tektro brakes that should work, and then I think who else? Is it Rivendell or Renair's? One of them sell long reach brakes that you could do the 700 to 650 conversion as well. Obviously, it would change the handling of the bike, but if it's not working now, might be something to look into if you don't mind, if you have 650 wheels or not. And yeah. Oh, Racer, you're in the process of moving. Yeah, so okay, that's good. I still want to do it for sure. Maybe when you get moved in. So, what's up, Ron? Stuff. So he talked about the toe overlap thing. Hi, all. Cleats forward and pedals. More fork rake, larger frame, smaller shoes. Blackball said, let's pick an additional date to meet in the summer and you'll come down to Ohio. Cool. Yeah, I feel like to set up something where everyone would want to travel, we definitely have to like have a 2-day thing. Even when we did the first industrial gravel ride, we kind of had an evening meetup and then the main event on the next day. So yeah, we'll have to see what's going on. Oh yeah, one more thing on the meetup just to promote the company that did something cool. So, Olight, that I've showed these before, but sent me stuff to give away. So anyone who does show up on Saturday, the one thing is a bike light. This is the one they actually made with Magic Shine, the BFL 900. I've never used this one. I have a different Olight that's a partnership with Magic Shine, but I guess so. Got a bike headlight. They sent a couple cool flashlights. One's a UV and regular flashlight, a smaller flashlight. And these I have used, not the ones in these boxes. And then also 3 safety lights. So, yeah, anyone who makes it out, we'll do a giveaway. Like I said, whoever comes the farthest gets first dibs, which with this meetup might just be Columbus guys, but yeah, got stuff to give away. Then at the Otis Roubaix, I know Otis got giveaways too. Large, maybe you know what he had. I thought I saw him mention Cannondale and stuff like that. Might have given him some stuff. So, yeah, I know when we did it the last time, he had some stuff from Salsa and all that. But yeah, actually, Steve, it's funny. I have zero. I don't think I have anything with 650. I have all 27. 700 29er or 26-inch wheels. But Uncle B Pudgy asked about the R8. I actually tried it tonight at an event. The event I was photographing. This thing is so amazingly small for a camera that has the tech it has in it. This is going to be great for bike content, I think, too. But the reason I bought a second camera is because like I said, I have another shooter now. So if we have to be at different gigs at the same time, but also to carry something a little less expensive than my full-on professional camera. But Pudgy, I think you made the right decision going with the R7. The thing I decided I would use this tonight at the event at first, but then after like 10 minutes, I switched back to my R5. And it's the image quality on this is awesome. It's that it's not a professional style body and there's just less buttons, and the viewfinder isn't as nice, and the rear screen isn't as nice, and the viewfinder was my main issue. So I think you made the right choice for what you do or what you want to do going with that camera. My whole thing with going with this over the R7 was the sensor size, just because my lenses will all be the same, whether they're on, no matter which camera I own, they go on, because, I don't want to think about crop factor and all that stuff. But yeah, it was like, to shoot something really quick and fast paced where stuff's going on, not to have like the pro level features on the body was frustrating. But I think for the way I'm going to use it in general, that mostly won't be an issue. And I could get used to it and work arounds for some of it with all the electronic features. But the images look absolutely incredible. And not that it matters for a tiny little thumbnail. I shot the thumbnail for this video with this camera. But yeah, this actually has even an upgraded autofocus over my current camera. So it has like an amazing processor, an amazing sensor. They saved a ton of money just by making the body cheaper. So yeah, there's so many options in the Canon lineup right now, which is a good thing, but also like can be a little frustrating when you're trying to decide what to do. So hey, what's up, waffles and coffee? Oh, Pudgy said Uncle B tonight said he's got 60B wheel set he'd be willing to sell but not wanting to ship. Yeah. Do a giveaway of that pocket air compressor. So that's I will be. I think I have the box right here. I don't know if you guys, if any of you watch Francis Cade, he actually have a little electronic, tiny little electronic air compressor. I showed it in one of the videos, but next week I'll have a video out with that actually fully reviewed, along with a couple of other things, because I just haven't really got the chance to try and use it or film using it. I think it might be something I keep though, so we'll see when I really get to test it. So, but a lot of other, I do have other stuff that I'm trying out that I, besides the lights I just showed, that I will be giving away too, and that would be to, I think there might be a couple channel member things where we do the random, any channel member on the live stream will get something. So, and those will be in the review next week too. So one's a rear bike light camera. I tried it out for the first time today, but haven't got to look at what the camera's like. I can't say exactly what that is yet because that's still under embargo. It's not officially released. And so I won't even say the brand name or anything. And then, oh, what else did I have in that? I got a couple other things that, so I'm going to try and like do almost a Francis Cade style video of a number of kind of mini reviews in one video, like, you know, do a couple minutes on each thing. So, hi, hey, what's up, Tony? Yeah, exactly, Pudgy. Cross compatibility for me is an issue using multiple cameras. So having similar, the same sensor size matters, but it also matters that when I pick up this camera, it functions and feels a lot different. So we'll see how it goes. So I'll be updating that. Probably talk about it on the photography channel too. Do like a review from someone coming from, it's weird, coming from a higher end camera, but this has some later generation tech in it, but then has the body of a total consumer camera. So it's just a real weird mashup of stuff going on here. But I really can't get over the size, and it's still really comfortable. They put this really big, deep grip on it. So even though it's tiny, it feels really nice, you know. So I think it's one of the benefits of what Canon does really well, and I think Nikon too, over Sony and Fuji that make great cameras. They just, Canon's got the ergonomics down so much better, and same with Nikon, than some of the brands that have been making great mirrorless cameras lately. Anyways, won't go too far. I won't go too much deeper into that, but we should definitely nerd out about that in person. Oh, Racer, you said you've been Canon for years. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the fact that Canon too, so like if you're not like a working pro, like so like they have like a sensor similar to the one that's in Pudgy's R7 and cameras that are even cheaper than this one. Now they have a sub $1,000 camera. Again, not cheap, not nothing, as Russ from Pathless Pedal would say, but a sub $1,000 camera that has pretty much the sensor. So it'd be like taking Pudgy's sensor, putting it in a body more like this, and then so you're cutting the cost on the body and the sensor, but still making it something that is better than some of the pro cameras from 4 years ago, right? You know, so yeah, the R10, what is that? The R9 and R10 are also great cameras, and if you just need to take really good pictures, like say of your life, but you don't need like high speed or super durability of like the professional stuff, they've got some great stuff in the Canon lineup right now. And then they could all, the great thing too is they've unified the lens mount. So you could get tiny plasticky lenses like I have on here right now, or you could buy $5,000 professional lens and stick it on there too. So you're not limited in lenses, which in all honesty can make more of a difference than the camera bodies these days because they've all, are the camera sensors because they've all gotten so good. But All right, I said I was going to stop talking about cameras. Get back to bikes. But as I always say, that was the original stream was 50-50. Maybe even leaned a little heavier on cameras at the beginning, actually, because I had just bought the R5, I think, when we started streaming. So, anyways. Ah, Dylan. Dylan said, put a dropper on the gunner. I saw that you were selling that one, and I was wondering if that one would fit the gunner, because I do think a dropper on the gunner now. Otis was telling me that in the beginning. He's like, you should put a dropper on it. You should put a dropper on it. I've never really cared about droppers when riding my gravel bike, my rally, but there's less seat post exposed, I think. So it wouldn't have had as much of an effect where the gunner, like I said, when we were doing that, the gunner's so much more capable. I guess it's not the seat post thing. It's that I just I couldn't do as gnarly as stuff on the gravel bike anyways, so the saddle wasn't like a defining factor to me. But now having like a sweep bar bike with 55 millimeter tires on, 29, or I guess if we're going to talk mountain bikes, 700 to roadies and gravel guys. But yeah, now I could see why a dropper would come in handy on a bike like that, especially when we did that Black Diamond Trail, and to be able to get the saddle out of the way would have made a huge difference. So, hey, what's up, Andrew Smith? Yeah, I think Pudgy to the camera thing. Yeah, the good ergonomics make the size not that much of an issue. But yeah, let me know if you feel like coming up for sure. Oh, Racer, you have a T4i, so a Rebel series. Yeah, yeah, the mirrorless, which game changer over the Rebels. So. Well, I guess not talking about cameras isn't going to happen. Acurex, Acurex, however, Acurex, what? Close enough, right? Yeah, the A1 is functionally one of the best cameras probably ever made, right?
Pound Mac subscribed to the channel.
Thanks, bro. Or gal, or whatever. Yeah, the Sony cameras are amazing. They're the ones that led the charge on what these cameras all are now. I just don't think they've ever nailed the ergonomics like Canon has. So Brooks Leather Cambio. Don't bait me with this saddle talk. Oh, Dylan, you said the dropper sold with the tumbleweed today. Yeah. Danny said PNW dropper with suspension. Huh. That'd be interesting to try. I mean, so here's the thing. I feel like I don't want suspension in my seat post, but I could be totally wrong because I also felt like I didn't used to want a dropper. So, you know. Hey, what's up, William LeBron? How's it going? Yeah, it has been forever since the last live stream, but gave everyone a lot to watch since we went till what, like 1 in the morning on the last one? Sam Diaz said, someone say, Brooks, Large is in here. He will ban you. Pudgy said suspension posts are annoying. Yeah, I should have, and because where did I see someone give a really good review to the Redshift one? Was that Russ on Pathless Pedaled, or no, that was something different I was watching. I can't remember, but my buddy Kyle, I hung out with a couple weeks ago, and he has a Cannondale. I don't know, is it a Topstone or something? It doesn't have suspension. It's a gravel bike. It's just I think, I don't know, mid-level gravel bike, $2,000 bike maybe. But he had put the Redshift stuff on there, and when we were riding, I should have like had him. We should have switched just so I could feel what that one felt like. But I think he put it on his stem too, though. Do they make a? Is there a Redshift stem and saddle suspension with Redshift? I don't know. Danny said you could just adjust the air pressure to give it as much suspension as you want. Ah, gotcha. Jay Danny trying to guess the commands. I did add a bunch of new ones, but now it's been so long I can't remember what they are. Hey, what's up, party size? Gravel D's nuts. Party size. I feel like I was just thinking about you for a different reason than the fact that I follow your Instagram posts, but maybe I rewatched some of the videos from when we were out east. But Andre 2000. The gunner has internal routing for the dropper. So yeah, it's all external routing for everything else, but it does have internal routing for a dropper post. So uh, LeBron said, "Love to get a Redshift stem. Couple friends have them. Yeah, I want to try one. I just feel But then again, like my days of riding suspension was on a cheap RockShox fork, so I shouldn't comment on it. I feel like I don't want them, but again, you guys have seen over the last few years how much I've changed my mind on certain things once I got to try them out. Oh, there's a list of commands. Nice. Yeah, so Racer, you said you've had yet to use a dropper, and I've just felt like it wasn't necessary. It really is, like I said, riding a more capable bike on more gnarly trails that made me understand what they're actually for. Like I've always felt like, why would I need one? But when you're going down a black diamond trail that is that steep and you hit it on your back, like in the middle of your, like not middle, but lower back, you're like, oh, if that wasn't there, like, makes sense now. Yeah, Racer, the seat post is what I know my friend had, but I think he had the stem too, the Redshift. So, oh, they make, yeah, I think he had both on there. Party size, you said you think about me all the time too. Thanks. Uh, Pudgy said you have a dropper on your mountain bike but never use it because you're old school and you took us over the back tire. Yeah, and I did that. Like with the sweeps on the gunner, that was nice because I could kind of get off the back. But when things change, you could see how I could definitely see how, like, say if I was going faster on gnarly stuff, you go to move back forward, it could be an issue. And again, like you said, you're old school, so you're used to it. You're used to the motions. I've never ridden those kind of super gnarly mountain bike trails or the ones that are steeper. And for the channel members, I did post that whole descent on the toughest trail we did. The GoPro doesn't like. I know Pudgy, you made the joke. There's a pebble, and Tim says, "Oh God," but I totally like. It wasn't that. It was super steep, and as you guys know, GoPros don't show it. I even said in the description, look over at the river, not the trail we're on, and you could tell how. Or when I just let off the brakes, and you could see how quick it accelerates. So, yeah. Tony's comment. Someone in this stream chastised him once for jokingly saying seat instead of saddle. If you're in here, remind me who you are so I could come kick your ass. Dr. Bob said, Dr. Bob, that reminds me too of the your comment from the long stream when you said you're not that Dr. Bob, but you two are sober and wonder why you're still here. That was a comment that I never forgot because it was hilarious. But You said you're thinking of adding a dropper to your gravel bike. Better line to have one and not need it than to want one and not have it. I can see that. Like I was saying, I don't feel like I need one on the gravel bike I have, but that bike kind of maxes out at 42s, and I don't know. I ride some dumb stuff on it, so yeah, maybe. Now that I have a bike that I will ride when I know I'm going to more gnarly trails, makes me not want, and I guess feel like I wouldn't need it on the other bike. But yeah, maybe I'll put the dropper on the gunner, and then I'll be like, oh, I want this on everything. That's Terry B's. Terry B's quote is our quote, and I think he have some swag droppers on everything. So yeah. Jay Dandy said, "What would Jan Heine do?" I don't know. I don't think he would ever use a dropper. A rando, because he's like his whole thing is rando riding. But then again, like we've talked about too. I know I was talking about this in person a couple weeks ago, but Milan San Remo was run by a total road cycling race was won by not this edition, but the 2022 edition by a guy using a dropper on the descents on the last few really steep descents. So road bike with a dropper is a thing now too. You guys are all saying it was me that chastised Tony for saying seat instead of saddle. It's possible. Danny asked, what are my favorite grips? I only have one bike with grips now because build up with grips because everything else is drops or alt bars. So my gunner is the only bike with grips, and Otis put the Vans grips on there. So they actually look like the bottom of Vans shoes. I really like them, but I can't, I mean, to say they're my favorites. Before that, my mountain bike, my old mountain bike, my Trek, 2001 Trek, had the original factory grips on it still. So I've ridden factory grips and I've ridden the Vans grips. A bunch of those 90s mountain bikes I picked up in Pittsburgh have grips on them, but I haven't ridden, none of those bikes are fully built up yet. So I'm the wrong person to ask. So bar tape is something I use way more. Entirely more. Like I'm looking at 10 bikes with bar tape on them over there. So, but that's a good question for everybody else in the anybody else who has flat or sweep bars in here. So, Muskrat, what's up, dude? You said you got a Fuji XT1. Oh, that's nice. Fuji's sensors have a certain look that has always been cool, even going back before they got into the mirrorless game. But like experimenting with vintage lenses. I think I've talked about this too. I have an adapter that lets me put my Minolta lenses onto my Canons. Messed around with it during the pandemic a lot, and not so much since because I'm not going to do that during professional work. But I want to do it during some video work, and it's one of those things I need to remind myself. Like next time I'm doing a video project that's a little more creative, throw those lenses on there. Have I ever thought about having a bike and photography class? I've done some kind of photography classes before. I did something for the art museum, and I've like done stuff for charity auctions where like I'll either do photos or like teach a little class. Yeah, I guess it's just like when I look at my schedule, it's just harder to like plan for something like that. I do like teaching. Obviously, that's probably part of the YouTube appeal to me. But yeah, I don't know. Otis does want to do a thing at a day at the bike shop where I think it might be combined with a ride or what do you call it, part swap thing, where people could pay and get like portraits with their bike. Maybe that could be tied into something like that. But balancing bike life. I was just thinking you're talking about the seat versus saddle. Um, I was thinking of this earlier because since we say seat post and seat tube, I think it lends itself to us like also saying saddle or seat once in a while, which It's funny because it is like a very proper cycling thing to like, oh, you mean your saddle? But not a big deal, obviously. We all know what you mean if you say seat. But yeah, that kind of, it's not a saddle tube or a saddle post. So we're all going to say seat on accident once in a while, just like calling a cap a hat because we said hat our whole life or anything you put on your head, right? So, oh, you didn't like the Van grips, Pudgy? Huh. I'm liking them. Like I said, I don't have a ton of comparison, but I'm liking them so far. They also, Pudgy, I don't know how long you rode them for. They like broke in real quick. So the first couple rides they did feel stiff, but the rubber, like, if anyone's, if you've seen the bottom of a pair of Vans, it's exactly what they're like. But that waffle pattern, that off the wall pattern, actually did like get more comfy. So Ron, yeah, you were talking about like suspension stuff. Big tires, lower pressure, comfortable saddle. For most stuff, I think is better than suspension until you get to a certain level of gnarliness where suspension makes sense. I'm not someone who wants suspension on my gravel bike, but yeah, all personal choices. Sam says PNW loam grips on his flat bar bike. Muskrat said Ergon now has drop bar tape that looks interesting. Huh. Not sure if I've seen that yet. Uh, Pudgy said, Uncle B said, I will tell you now, when the Supercaz oil slick tape gets wet, you are probably going to die. Yeah, my vintage Peugeot still has that original ribbon tape. That's just, what do they call that? There's a word for it. It's almost like it's white. It's almost transparent. There's no cushioning, and it just becomes like you cannot hold on to the bars at all. But Steve Marino said, God, I would love to do a part swap. Otis really wants to do one. So, like, as we've talked about, maybe doing a summer meetup, um, that would be a really good thing to tie in. Maybe that could be the day before event. Maybe we had music at the bike shop, part swap meetup, and then a ride the next day. I think he'd be down for that. He's oh, Matt Ford said bike portraits sound cool. Maybe that's the thing. Like the first day is all a bunch of events at the bike shop. I'm sure Large loves hearing me plan stuff for him to have to worry about. But yeah, that's a not a crazy. Um, it's something we could definitely do. Kyle Hoover says saddle of leather, seat of synthetic. Eh, I'm gonna call it a saddle no matter what, but I'm not gonna get mad at anyone for calling it a seat. I'll just correct them like we do with hat and cap all the time. Saddles for leather seats. Love the brooks that aren't camniums and aren't as good. My brain can't put together that sentence. I think there's a typo in there. Bouncing bike life said, "Don't make fun of me for saying seat. I get butt hurt easily." Blackball said, "Saddle seat turntable record player." I was listening to on the way home our public music radio station, The Summit, and they had it's they're doing all vinyl right now, like for a couple days, like vinyl. I don't know, it's some vinyl weekend on a bunch of radio stations around the world are playing all vinyl, and this is one of them, our local station. But they were interviewing a band, and he called them vinyls. Don't ever call your records vinyls. That seat saddle, none of that bothers me. Accidentally calling a hat a cap, cap a hat, that doesn't bother me. Calling records vinyls, that's not a word. That's not a thing. Don't do it. that's that's where I draw the line. But balancing bike like asked why I went with sweep back bars on my gunner instead of flat bars. I had flat bars on my old mountain bike. It was never crazy. Once I had drop bars, I really liked them. And then I borrowed the gunner from Otis about a year ago, and he had whiskey carbon bars on it. I think uh, are whiskey's carbon bars actually called Albatross? We talked about this on the stream a while ago. I don't know, but I remember riding the bike in that upright position and that like kind of leverage with the back. I just really liked it, so I kind of recreated that when he gave me the gunner frame. So that was my reason. And the reason not to do drops on that bike was just that I wanted something different. But I really liked riding the gunner with the sweep back bars, so I stuck with that. But I've never been big, I rode it for however many, 20 years on my mountain bike. But once I went with drops, I've never been a big fan of this hand position. So that's why I even put the sort of the corner bars on my old mountain bike. So Danny kind of hit the nail on the head too. He said, "My surly sweep back bars feel better on your lower back when you're riding than the flat bars." And that same thing, like I was saying on the downhill stuff, with the sweep bars, being able to push myself back and still feel really leveraged. I don't think, so if it's flat bars, I'd be doing this. With the sweep bars, it's more. And I also like the idea of hands. Mine don't come fully back, and don't make fun of my hand positions. That's what I'm famous for. Uh, but they are like this, so it's not like your hands aren't in this position. And so, being someone who rides in hoods and stuff like that, I feel like this is more of a feeling that you'd be used to. So, gonna start calling it a saddle tube instead and see what happens. I like that. I think that's what we change. We saddle tube, saddle post. Oh wow, that bike has a long saddle tube, huh? Is that an oversized saddle tube? A lot of a lot of saddle post exposed on that bike. Saddle dropper? Should we say saddle dropper for a dropper post? Racer said you don't care about saddle seat, but being a car guy, you're not down with bonnet instead of hood. That's more of a, isn't that more of a, that's more of a British English versus American English with bonnet, right? Don't British say bonnet a lot? Oh, Jay Danny said bonnet is European, yeah. Because just like the difference in like some other bike stuff, like saying mechanical or saying a puncture instead of a flat. Those. That's more like it's more of a dialect thing than you know. Pudgy said he worked for Honda and Toyota for years and they liked bonnet, huh? Balancing bike life. You said you have carpal tunnel and you get sore, numb hands on long rides. I was wondering if sweep back bars might be better. Yeah, well, it depends, but there's a good chance that the sweep bars, if they come back, you would be putting less pressure on your hands because of the position. So you'd be more upright. It's just like shortening a stem on any bike would have that effect no matter the bars. But yeah, sweep bars should put less pressure on your hands for sure uh, on the same bike. Racing, nope, not down with bonnet. Uncle B says calling a record a vinyl is like calling a condom a rubber. Well, yeah. Oh, you keep getting auto corrected, Pudgy. That's what's going on. Racer, I'm the same. When I hear bonnet, I think of like an Amish woman's hat. But I watch enough British stuff that I also know what it means. Saddle stays. Oh yeah, Matt Ford. We totally missed that one. Uh, yeah, saddle stays instead of seat stays. I I know I'll forget, but I want to do that to be really annoying. You know, to say that at the shop, like to Yonda especially. Like, right, this bike has really long saddle stays. Oh, boot. Yeah, boot for trunk, Pudgy. I forgot about that. The British would say a boot for a trunk. A boot. And the Canadians would say a boot. Right, guys? We have. Speaking of Canadians, rear mech. Yeah, that's another British. Tarmac instead of road. Yeah. What's up, Chris McCallum? Sam said you say chain set or chain ring. I say chain rings. Yeah. I feel like chain set is also they're interchangeable, but I feel like chain set is definitely favored by the English too, the British. But unfortunately, I don't think most of our we've got a number of regular British watchers, but English, Scottish, uh, but the time doesn't work for live streams really. Party size says Chris McCallum, Matt Ford, all here at once. This might as well be your Wednesday virtual rides. Oh yeah, nice. Oh, on the too much pressure on the hands. Pudgy said narrow bars, softer grips. Chris McCallum said sweep back bars or raise the stem. Yeah, raise the stem. Not always. Yeah, get a higher rise, but yeah, anything to just get so you're not as far forward. Softer grips could help. I don't think that. It depends on how much. If your hands are going numb, I think soft grips are probably not enough. So Tony said chain ring equals just the ring. Chain set, yeah, I guess chain set's almost more like what we would say drivetrain for, right? I think when I hear people say chain set, it's almost drivetrain like. But I wouldn't say chain set. I would say drivetrain. I wouldn't say I need to clean my chain set like my drivetrain needs to be cleaned. My drivetrain needs to be replaced. That bike has a really old drivetrain. Yeah, yeah. Chain sets never come out of my mouth. Jay Dandy, that's what she said. But what's the cranks, right? When you talk about a crank set, then you're including the rings with the cranks, right? So, uh, I don't know. Blackball said, "Wake the Canadians, and there will be hockey talk." Or Pudgy, he's down in towards Columbus, and he still has that. Oh, and Raymond said a homosexual slur and a cigarette. Yeah. To first hear like the British say like, I almost think I don't know if they still say it. It was very '60s, right? To smoke a fag, to smoke a cigarette. I don't know if that has died off because of the connotation and the connectivity between the continents. I don't know. I don't feel like I hear it anymore. You would hear it in even songs or in old movies. Uh, but yeah, the Kinks have a song which is to their dialect from the part of the UK. Where are they from? London? But I think it's a neighborhood thing, maybe even. But Harry Rag was also a term for a cigarette. So yeah. Had to replace your rear D? I don't know about that. Got a stick sucked up into my D. Yeah. D already has enough. Transmissions. Doug says transmission is a term that is correct, and that's now what SRAM's been using for the new stuff. But I don't like it. That makes me think of cars too much. Yeah. Chris McCallum said small D if you have a 3X. Oh, and Uncle B said on the smoking an F, that's not very common anymore due to the connotation. I figured, yeah, just seemed like a very 1960s thing for that. Whoa, this chair almost fell over as I tried to adjust my leg. Racer said crankset has more to do with BB arm length. Yeah. If I say crankset, I'm thinking about the rings too, but that doesn't mean I'm right on that one. That's just what pops in my head. Hey, what's up, Diversity Love? Oh yeah, Pudgy, your Instagram stories of the Dayton Bike Yard. It looked amazing. So the reason I DM'd you when I saw those is because uh, when I was traveling with my friend Joey, who hired me for the gigs in Michigan and Indiana, he's actually a skateboarder. He rides bikes too, but he loves to ride his skateboard on pump tracks. So we've found some on both trips to go to, and it's that Velo Solutions ones, same as the one who made the Dayton Yard. They have that red line around the top, and he's so into riding. He rides the one near Cleveland like a few times a week. He gets up early in the morning and goes there before anyone's there and just does a number of laps on it. And so I saw that Dayton Bike Yard one, which also had way more stuff for bikes because it had the wooden ramps and the big wooden bank turns. But we came near Dayton and went to a different one. So I was like, what's this one? So yeah, that definitely looks like something worth checking out. I I brought my skateboard on the last trip, and I can't believe how much I've slipped in my balance. So I push my skateboard around upstairs here, like I'll ride across the studio on it and stuff like that, but there's not really any smooth pavement outside around here. I had no skills to ride the pump track. I like went up on a couple top sections and just pushed around the skate yard, and we even in Lansing, Michigan, we rode skateboards around a little bit. I can't believe how like slow and unbalanced I am now. I felt like since I push around a little bit here, I still have it. I skated my whole life, but I don't. So if we do another trip and we get something on the books, me and Joey, I'm gonna like actually go out and like push my board around like a parking lot somewhere and kind of get my groove back. I was kind of bummed at how bad I was. So yeah. Pudgy says, need to adjust my B screw on my D. Chris says SRAM will always be grip shift. Oh, yeah, Pudgy, I assume there was skating. You could skate it. I'm just saying it looked like it was more extensive than just skating. Like there was definitely special stuff for bikes. So, speaking of grip shift, that's what I was riding in Indy. I did like 10 miles on the city bikes. What an awesome city. I mean, if you watch the video, I did I voice over that one? Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. That's a place I would go back to, just to see the city, and then ride some more of the bike trails, of course, too. So, limits out of order on my D. Oh, Pudgy, you think we went to Huber Heights? That's possible. It was Huber Heights. You're right. That I remember seeing the sign, and I knew the name Huber Heights because when I worked at Communal, I used to have to ship stuff to Huber Heights, where we had another office. That's where we were. Diversity Love said, "Have you heard of airless tires? Would you want that on your bike?" No, the pneumatic tires, like the invention that made the bikes awesome. All bikes were airless, up until what? Goodrich here in Akron started. There's a British company too, English company actually, but Goodrich at about the same time started filling bicycle tires with air, and it was a game changer. I'm sure there's something out there now that's supposed to be more. I've looked at a couple videos. Some companies making it. It looks like they don't look good. So
Standy super chatted $1.99. That's a lot of exposed saddle post you got. Banana, 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 horse, banana, banana.
thanks, JD. Yeah, Francis K too, who I was just talking about. He did a video where he put some of those airless tires on. Look like an absolute nightmare to install them. You roll one off. Nah. Pneumatic tires, there's no reason to. Tubeless is a great upgrade. I know some people like the tire liners that go in tires now, but no, keep air in your tires. Pneumatic tires, one of the best inventions of all time. Oh, Danny, going back, you said you longboard. You're too old to skateboard, and I have longboard too. And when I still lived places where I could get around on my skateboard, I rode my longboard with the big cushy wheels, like super soft, super big wheels. And yeah, I have two longboards, and yeah, I am not trying to do tricks on my skateboard anymore. I mean, I could still ollie or do a shove it, but yeah, the pump track looks really fun though. So that's why. And I brought my, God, this is showing how long it's been. I can't remember what year that board is. My 1988 Mike McGill. That was the Powell Peralta. That was the board I was gonna ride on the pump track. So still decent sized wheels compared to the skateboards we rode in the 90s, which were horrible. But yeah, I could still push around on my longboard. I bet I'd be a lot more comfortable. They're so much more stable. So, but for the pump track, I would want like an old school deck. But oh, Chris, you said your bike at work has solid rubber tires that are airless. What do you think? Andre 2000 said we need a skateboard vlog. I don't know if you might have noticed I snuck skateboard footage into the last few videos. So some of watching Joey, but a little bit of me pushing. The one in the Michigan, both, yeah. The Michigan and the Indianapolis video have a little bit of skateboarding footage in them. So old school skater here, skating's hard AF. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Dimitri? Oh, Springfield's getting a pump track too. Yeah, the pump track thing is just blown up so much. I know I'm way far behind in the chat, but kind of circled back after Jay Dandy's super chat. Oh, you guys want to talk about grip shift? It's funny because I didn't realize there was ever. We've talked about this on the stream before, but it was years ago. Year ago, 2 years ago, who knows? But I remember when the grip shift I grew up with, like the mountain bikes had it, and it was not very good. I didn't realize that there was actually, and this is just from the live streams before, you guys telling me that SRAM actually made good grip shift, I believe. So, oh, Chris said the airless tires are heavy. Pudgy said airless tires are super sketchy if you turn too hard. I'll just say from watching Francis Cade's video, that's all I need to see. You're fixing a problem that doesn't exist. So airless tires, the selling point is for commuters and never getting a flat, winter, and stuff like that. Uh, man, just get, like we say, Schwalbe marathons. Just get tires that are notorious for not flatting, that would be, I'd skip the airless stuff. My opinion. So there might be something out there that's better, but Chris said you drove in a car that had honeycomb style tire. The road noise was pretty bad. Yeah, I'd have to guess that's the thing too. I mean, didn't they call like dandy horses shakers? But I think it's not because of the bikes. It was because they had solid rubber tires. Like I said, I know there's more tech in the airless tires now than there would have been in the 1800s, but I still just think it's a big why. You know, Racer said he loves grip shift, not the old stuff, the new stuff. NXGX they brought it back a few years ago because XC racers wanted them back. Matt Ford, keep air in your tires, Tim. 2023. I always felt like I'm surprised with the mountain bike stuff. I always felt like holding onto bars like where you wanted your hand to be could lead to accidental shifting. I think I brought this up when you guys were trying to explain it to me on the stream again. You were saying it wasn't an issue, but Dimitri said, "Do a kickflip." One if Tony Hawk shows up and I can't. Yeah, I think my kickflipping days are behind me. So. Pudgy said you want to ride a wide surf deck for pump tracks. Yeah. And that's, I mean, old school boards, you know. Oh, Racer said we've seen his bike collection. He has skateboards. Yeah, I have my McGill, I have a vintage Caballero, my two longboards, and then one like modern 90s style skateboard. That was my, oh, I have other skateboards. What the hell am I talking about? Yeah. I have the other because I've never really gotten rid of any of the ones. So I have a old Powell Double Dragon when they weren't Powell Peralta in the 90s. Yeah. So I guess I have a, yeah, whatever. Charles Foster Kane said you have your 80s skateboard was a wood deck with grip tape, Continental trucks, and pipeline wheels. Oh, yeah, Continental. Yeah. My 80s, my McGill has trackers, the old heavy trackers, not the more modern ones. But airless tires, what would Jan Heine do? uh, Mason S says, Heine show you a chart to show you how stupid he thinks you are. He would show you a chart and then explain, and then when you disagreed, he'd laugh. Have you ever watched him like on a live stream? He's like not mean at all. He definitely has an opinion, and when someone doesn't agree, he's just like shrugs, you know. Thing about grip shift and thumbs is that you can get all the gears either way. And in tail grabbing, all the gears or dumping all of them is baller. Yeah. Raymond said camera, bike, skateboard, tire mashup. A little, yeah. Oh, it is 10 o'clock. That's why you guys are cussing. Do like probably about 15 more minutes. I'm not going to take a break because right before we started streaming, where did I put my phone? Yeah. Got an email asking for some of the event photos for a press release tomorrow. So I have to go back upstairs and edit before I go to bed tonight. So I prefer that not to be at 11, but that's how it goes. I knew that this could be a possibility. So. Diversity Love, you said you want a skateboard for your dogs. I have seen those like America's Funniest Home Videos with dogs that learn how to ride them. Pudgy said airless tires are like leather Brooks saddles. Sure, you can ride them, but why not ride something comfortable? That doesn't make any sense. Leather Brooks saddles are the most comfortable saddles there are. So having a brand new Brooks on the Gunner, it's the first brand new Brooks I've ever had. The first, me and Funny Brad did a 50-mile towpath ride together, and I was sore, not like bad, but like the next time I rode the Gunner, like I could feel like not unrideable, but I could feel soreness. So I understand now why someone who just goes and buys a Brooks saddle and rides it a few times doesn't like it. And now it's already breaking in. I'm already used to it. It's already comfortable. It's not broken in. I mean, I could already start to feel that there's like some dimples there, but it doesn't bother me anymore to ride it. But yeah, if you go and ride one once and then you're like, but that's almost any saddle you change to, you know. Or if you don't ride all winter and you ride in the spring, I remember I used to be sore no matter what bike it was. But yeah, I will grant that now that because I've never had a brand new one, that the brand new ones, the first couple rides, I could feel it. But I don't know. If you ride a lot, it's not going to be an issue. You'll get used to it and it could become comfortable if you like the way they fit. So, and I knew I was going to talk about this at some point. I'm like, I'm going to break the B17 code because I did try something different, you know. So. Wait, Dylan, what did I say that made you say that? I can't. Terry, you said Terry B has one of the best ways to approach YouTube haters. It's almost impossible to hate. Is that what I? What was I talking about that you're referencing? I think typical. I've already gone off in a million directions and forgot. I do have it on live chat, so I don't think I would have missed anything. Huh. Chris said 2 weeks and no tuna boat. Yeah. Andre 2000 asked, have you had a chance to check out the Summit Cycling Center? Yeah, I've been in the Summit Cycling Center. Their hours don't work well with me because it's Saturday morning and Wednesday night. I have my ride on Wednesday night that I've been doing for years, and then Saturday morning, I'm either watching pro cycling, chilling with Aaron, or coming home to work a little bit. It's just not a time that I usually head out. But yeah, I've been in there. I know the guys and all that stuff. And anybody else still sporting a banana seat on their bike? Racer, you are a photographer. You are in high demand. It's been true this year. God, everything came back with a vengeance, which is awesome. I'm a freelancer. I got to make money. So, Jan Heine likes his cows, horses, French. And Pudgy says, Tim is so defensive over his Seedles. I like that Seedles, yeah. Sam says, someone banned Timmy, broke the Brooks rule. Yeah. Bouncing Bike Life said, split the difference between a bike and a skateboard and use a kick scooter. It's all the rage with the Amish. Huh. Oh, gotcha, Pudgy. Talking about Jan Heine and shrugging off all the folks with logical concerns. To Dylan's point is what you're saying, yeah. Who's listening to Tame Impala? I listened to them early on. I mean, God, we must not really. I don't know their history, but I think it was when they were a little newer. And listen, there was an EP I liked, but then a lot of the later stuff didn't like stick with me or resonate. Maybe a little too noisy for my taste, a little not poppy enough. But familiar with them and listen. There were a few songs I liked, but I didn't follow them after a couple albums. I kind of was just like, yeah, but a ton of friends who like Tame Impala. So I think they're the bee's knees, the elephant's instep, as the kids in the 1920s said. So Dr. Bob said only banana seat he had was on a 60s Stingray. Sure. Yeah, and I think the bike I learned on was a knockoff of a Stingray. My brother had it, and it even had like, it was nice because my dad could put his hand on that like over the banana seat that you ran with. But it was some kind of knockoff hand me down from the neighborhood. I grew up in a normal like a suburban subdivision where stuff got passed around. So, but yeah, that was the. I didn't ride that bike very long. My parents got me a little Huffy like BMX dirt bike thing for Christmas, and that's the bike I rode as a kid like crazy. I wish I still had it. It was red. Yeah, foot brake. Yeah. Pudgy says if we call them Seedles, we piss everyone off and still win. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, it is almost a board time, Pudgy. Race said, you're a freelancer. It's feast or famine. Yeah, that's true. Dimitri, I heard a couple of people say the new Metallica album's not bad. Or that was Dustin Klein, I think, posted that the new Metallica album wasn't bad. And as we mentioned on here, I showed you guys all the Furnace Record stuff from our channel member. And Metallica bought that guy's record pressing plant. That was announced 2 weeks after he sent me the care package with the records and the shirts and the pins. Yeah, Furnace Record was sold to Metallica. So as he hit me up and said, he's like, I'm going to have a lot more time to ride. And I'm like, this dude sold the largest record pressing plant on the East Coast to Metallica. I think he's going to be able to ride wherever he wants. So, yeah. Oh, Andre said the co-op is open for 12 to 6 on Fridays. I guess I stopped following. I didn't pay attention. Huh. Matt Ford, the Seedles are the worst Britpop cover band. Yeah. Meet the Seedles, right? Andre, I should actually stay away from the co-op. I could see 5 unbuilt frames over here. No, 6, and then all my other bikes begging for attention, vintage bikes. So, yeah. Speaking of helmets, mine's a Kali Kali. I like it because the built-in tail light into the helmet, but it is way too old. I absolutely need to replace my helmet. So. Pudgy said he likes specialized helmets, but you work for a shop that sells them. Burn for a skate lid. So. Race said you were all huffy growing up. Moms couldn't afford anything more. I think my parents had a decent amount of money, but they were super practical. They knew we were gonna outgrow them. They knew we were probably gonna break them, and they weren't gonna buy the fancy stuff just because the kid down the street had it. So. Chris said Kali helmets run a bit small. That's true. Even mine is almost on the maximum setting. So I would agree with that. And I don't think I have a very big head. Balancing Bike Life said, who needs a helmet? I'm surprised. I posted an Instagram story today. I rode down to pick up a burrito, and I wasn't wearing a helmet. I had my winter hat on. I'm not even wearing shoes. I'm wearing my slippers. And so I just rode like a mile down the road to pick up a burrito through a residential neighborhood. I really thought like I was going to get a bunch of people lecturing me because every time I show myself without a helmet on, people lecture me. And it's not often. I wear a helmet 98% of the time, probably more than that. But there's one glimpse of me without a helmet, and I get people like freaking out on me. So I never wore a helmet. We never wore them as kids. I didn't wear them till even when I moved here and got back into riding. I never wore them. We would go out just like I do now. We would like ride out to the bars. I'd ride, and even then I rode like way busier streets than I ride now because now I know the routes and avoid them all. I would head right down Main Street, right down Market Street. Never even thought about it. I didn't even wear caps yet. Always just a baseball cap. I remember one night coming home at like 2 in the morning and my baseball hat blowing off, riding down the busiest street in Akron and being like, well, I'm not going back for that. But I advocate for that. I wear a helmet. I just go with the better safe than sorry. But I hate helmet Nazism. Like, don't tell any other grown adult what to do. They're fine. They could make their own decisions. That's my opinion. I wear a helmet almost all the time. I never lecture anyone who doesn't. But I know I just opened a can of worms when I'm about to try and get off the stream. So Racer said any Jamiroquai fans. I only know the hit he had in the '90s. So I ignorance. I'm not familiar with anything besides that one famous video he made in the '90s. But he said Lars starts suing other record pressers while screaming Napster with a pitchfork. Yeah, I know. It's hard to, it's hard to like Metallica after all that stuff. I don't know. And plus like some of those, that Saint Anger album, I mean, was just such absolute trash. And then that documentary about them, like, was that when they were making that album? I don't know. Whatever that documentary about them, where they look like the most pathetic human beings I've ever seen, has made it hard for me to take anything they do seriously. But if you could separate yourself from all that, I hear the new album's good. Just throwing bricks everywhere. Chris said you do dumb things on bikes, you need a helmet. That's how I feel. Like, we now like turn off a road onto gnarly stuff. No, to me, it's like a seatbelt in a car. I just put it on. But I decided to go pick up a burrito today, and I didn't put it on. Like, that's, 4 stop signs, whatever. Shit could happen anywhere. Pedestrians get killed all the time. They don't wear helmets. I'm going to wear a helmet when I ride almost always. So I'm in a co-op now, Matt Ford. You're right. Yeah. I don't have the GoPro set up today, but I'd like to do that in general, to pan around at all the bullshit around here. But what does that mean, Racer? You said one Brit term you like is bell end. I'm not sure what that means. Flying over trout said, hi, Tim. Do you have an open streets events where you live and cyclists could ride them freely? We only had one. It was actually, open streets. It was pre-pandemic. There was a plan to do a bunch of them. No, they've done 2. So yeah, they've done 2 of those events. They were really cool. They had planned to do a bunch of them. The mayor resigned. The new mayor who took his place got caught in a sexual scandal. Then there was an election, and then so it just kind of fell by the wayside. My friend Kyle at Knight Foundation was the one who was funding them. There's a bunch of turnover. Pandemic happened, and they haven't done them again. I hope they do it again. When I was in New York City a number of years ago with Aaron, they were having one of those, and it was great. But yeah, I love those open streets events. Balancing bike life, you said, and I saw Racer, your comment too, how you're indifferent. You said you never use a helmet anymore and no one has said anything. Yeah, that's crazy. No one says anything to me in person. My parents did when I got back into cycling. They mentioned something, and like my brother mentioned something. I think the reason I get so much now is the YouTube channel and a little bit of an Instagram following. So just a more diverse audience. When Terry does the no helmet thing, like, it got picked up by Reddit and all this stuff. He did it with Bike Snob New York City, Bike Snob NYC, and it got like so much like hate and all that. But the same thing, I commented, I'm like, I wear one because I drink and I do dumb stuff. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that makes sense, but oh, Mason S. Some Kind of Monster is the Metallica documentary. You're right. You said it's great and it's one of your favorite comedy movies. As you guys know, I'm not a name dropper, but it was, I think it was Patrick Carney from the Black Key it was I know it was. It was Patrick Harney from the Black Keys. He was recording a couple songs with my band right when that came out, and he's the one who told me to watch it. He's like, "You've got to see it. Yeah, it's Spinal Tap basically, but with Metallica, and it's serious." So, oh, check it out, Andre, for sure. Yeah. If you're gonna get rad, wear a helmet or a condom. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason pro cyclists are compelled, like now, it's compulsory to wear a helmet. There's a reason if you're mountain biking, you're going to wear a helmet. Uh, Someone who's commuting, it's your choice. I think it would be dumb to go mountain biking without a helmet, but I still wouldn't lecture anyone on it. Uh, I think it'd be dumb to descend Alpe d'Huez without a helmet, but it's your choice, you know. Yeah, it's true. Like a lot of the BMX guys and stuff like that, and skateboarders. Skateboarders back in the day only wore them if they were riding vert ramps, right? You know, so. But I think we also know a lot. I think we know a lot more now too. You know, there's all that. There's the boomer generation who will say stuff like, "I never wore a helmet and I'm still here." There's a term for that. It's called survivor bias. You're here. There's people because the people who died, and I'm not saying this is a you should wear a helmet. Like it's the whole seatbelt thing, the whole we used to drink from hoses, we used to whatever, like you always get from the boomers. We did all this and we're fine. You're fine. You're the ones who are here to talk about it. The people who died or are brain dead are not here to tell their story. So there is a thing called survivor's bias, and it's true. It's factually true that the dead people aren't around to say, hey, I died from, you know, getting cancer from drinking from those old dangerous hoses or whatever the situation may be. And again, not I am not a helmet Nazi, but just making a point that you can't as you get older try not to say certain things like that because they're not actually true. Your perspective is that nothing happened to you and nothing did happen to you. Stuff did happen to other people and they're not here to tell you about it, right? Yeah, I never wore a mask during the pandemic. And Dimitri, good point. Sadly, happens in most things. Same BS in photography, but people can't handle people things doing things different. Yeah, there's a lot, and there's a herd mentality of trends, and especially in photography and other things too, where I felt about making a video about like the alt cycling thing. I don't want us to become the same thing, like we become elitist in our alt cycling opinions, just like road cyclists, and not every road cyclist, but that there is an elitist thing in road cycling, and your bike has to be the lightest and the most expensive, and it has to be clean, and blah blah blah, and there's these rules, and it's like yeah, want to make sure like want to have an open space where we try not to do that stuff either, like where we have opinions and we argue about stuff, and because it's fun and it's in the family, but it's not imposed on other people. It's not hard to get into the scene because you don't know that you should say saddle instead of seat or cap instead of hat or with all that stuff. But Jay Dandy, wait, you can't drink from hoses? Oh yeah, Yinzer, awesome. Yeah, hope to see you out there. I am about to wrap up, and we did talk about it, but yeah, uh, for Saturday, be here between 3 and 3:30, or DM me if your situation's special coming out from Pittsburgh. Um, I just don't want to before 3. I don't want to have my eyes on a bunch of people. I'll probably be working a little bit, but yeah, I can make a few exceptions. Tim's ranting abort. You're right. I got it. I do have to. I have to get these. I have to get these photos edited to get them to that press release. So I should get out of here. Oh, Chris, sometime my all-time favorite must-read books. Yeah, that'd be fun to get into. It is like I am going to get out of here after this statement, so nobody else say anything. But yeah, just early on when there was only 5 of us, the streams would go wherever we wanted them to. They still do, obviously, as we're talking about some of this stuff. But I do feel like trying to keep it more on the bike topic now. With people are here for bikes, but yeah. Yeah, anything about Saturday and Sunday, anyone reach out to me. Like I said, DM me on Discord, DMs on Instagram. Usually see once in a while if I forgot to connect with you, they go into that other folder. I'll try and with this weekend coming up, I'll try and make sure I'm checking that. Just and it's not because I'm dissing any of you. That stuff. Everybody has so many different screen names. Sometimes I forget who's who. So yeah. All right, guys. Awesome. Won't be streaming again this week. I've got to work all day Thursday. So hopefully to see some of you in real life Saturday and then hopefully stream next Tuesday. But all right.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.